Hi guys, welcome back to Trigonometry 1 playlist, and we're going to look at lesson 2 today. So we'll be looking at the introduction of Sohcahtoa, where that comes from and how we can use it. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so we're going to look at 3 triangles here, and we already know how to label the sides. So let's just label the sides for all 3 of these triangles. So here's the right angle. Here is the side opposite, so that is the hypotenuse, the longer side, and so we call it hype. This is the angle, 37 in question. That one there is the opposite, and the last one is therefore the adjacent. Okay. Now, because all of these triangles are pointing the same way, and they all have an angle in here, at the bottom right-hand corner, all of the sides are going to be labelled the same. So I'll just write them in quickly. Okay, and action. Okay, so we are going to be looking here, this part here, where it says opposite over hypotenuse, or opposite divided by the hypotenuse. So for each of these triangles, I'm going to take the opposite value of the opposite side and divide it by the value of the hypotenuse. So look at this first triangle here. The opposite side is here, and that is labeled 3 centimeters. So I'm going to do 3 all divided by the hypotenuse is here, and that is labeled 5 centimeters. So I'm going to do 3 divided by 5, and that gives me an answer of 0.6. Okay, I'm going to do the same for this next triangle. So again, the opposite, here's the opposite, and that side is 1.5, all divided by the hypotenuse, which is 2.5. Again, if I reach my calculator and do 1.5 divided by 2.5, my answer is 0.6. Continue on. This third triangle here, here's the opposite. And that side is 3.6 centimeters. And here's the hypotenuse, and that side is 6 centimeters. And once again, if I do 3.6 divided by 6, my answer is 0.6. So, every single answer here is 0.6. So I can tell you for every single right angle triangle that has an angle of 37 in it, like the 3 in my example, no matter how big or small it is, if that angle is 37, if I divide the opposite side by the hypotenuse, the answer will always, always, always be 0.6. Okay, so they're in proportion to each other, will always be 0.6. Now, I was saying in the last video that we like to label things in maths, so that 0.6 can also be called sin 37, so sin of the angle. So in here, under the trigonometric ratio, I'm going to write sin 37. Now, if you type sin 37 into your calculator, it will also give you an answer of 0.6. So, that means that sin of the angle is the exact same as finding the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. I also just want to show you something here. This sin starts with an S. We write an S down here. This opposite starts with an O. We write O down here. And the hypotenuse starts with a H. And we write H down here. All of this will become clear soon, I promise. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of a deeper understanding of what's happening here. Right, let's move on to the next one. So, the next one says adjacent divided by hypotenuse. So I'm going to do the exact same thing with all 3 triangles. So I'm going to look at the adjacent side now. Here's the adjacent here. And that length is 4 centimeters. So it's going to be 4 divided by a hypotenuse, which is 5. And if I did 4 divided by 5, on my calculator, I will get an answer of 0.8. I'm assuming you're going to guess what's going to happen next. So the next triangle, the adjacent is here, and that side is 2 centimeters, and the hypotenuse is 2.5. If I do 2 divided by 2.5 on my calculator, I get an answer of 0.8. And the next one, the adjacent is 4.8, and the hypotenuse is 6. Once again, if I do 4.8 divided by 6 on my calculator, I get an answer of 0.8. Okay, so once again, guys, you can see every single answer here is 0.8. So I can state something else. I can state for every single right angle with an angle of 37, like I have with my 3 examples. Every time I do adjacent divided by hypotenuse, you will always get an answer of 0.8. Okay? Now again, we like to label things with 0.8 can also be called the cosine of 37 or cos 37. Move it in here under the trigonometric ratio, cos 37. Now if you type cos 37 into your calculator, you'll get an answer of 0.8. Okay? So again, I can state that this cos of the angle, this cos 37 here, I'm just circling here, is the exact same as the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse in that right angled triangle. I'm going to do what I did a little second ago. I'm going to take the first letter here, which is C. First letter of my adjacent, which is A. First letter of my hypotenuse, which is H. Okay, let's move on. So the next one states opposite. The ratio is opposite over adjacent. So the opposite for this first triangle here is 3, and the adjacent is 4. If I did 3 divided by 4 on my calculator, my answer is 0.75. Next triangle, opposite is 1.5, and the adjacent is 2. If I do that on my calculator, my answer is 0.75. Next one, the opposite is 3.6, and the adjacent is 4.8. Again, if I take that into my calculator, my answer is 0.75. Once again, every single answer here is 0.75. What can I state? For every right angled triangle with an angle of 37, the opposite side divided by the adjacent will always give you an answer of 0.75. 0.75 can be called the tangent of angle 37, or I can write it like tan 37. If I did tan 37 on my calculator, I'll get an answer of 0.75. Okay, so I know that tan 37 is the same as doing the opposite divided by the adjacent. I need to get these letters now. This first letter here of your tan, which is your T. First letter of your opposite, which is your O. And the first letter of your adjacent, which is your A. And it spells out Sohcahtoa. Now, Sohcahtoa is really important in trigonometry. It just helps us get the ratios right. I will show you in the next video how we use it, but I'm just going to show you one more slide. This is probably important notes just to take down the word Sohcahtoa and write what each letter means. So let me go on to the next slide. Okay, so here we go. Sohcahtoa, really important. Your S is obviously your sin. Your O is your op or your opposite. Your H is your hypotenuse. I've just called it height for short. C is cos, A is adjacent, H again is hypotenuse, your T is your tan, your O is your opposite, and your A is your adjacent. Okay, so you've learned about sin, cos, and tan. You've learned about how to label each of the sides of the right angled triangle. In the next lesson, I'm going to show you how to work out questions using trigonometry and using this Sohcahtoa. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Thank you. Bye now.